Namandam, 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 namandam. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Dharma family service. Kind of rainy here in Oakland. We had originally planned on it being our Ohigan service, but we're going to be doing our official Higan next week. But I will talk a little bit about Ohigan today during my talk. So let's begin our service with Sutra chanting, and we will be chanting Juseige. Namandam, 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 namandam. Juseige Hishimu Jodo Shigan Fumanzok Seifu Joshogak Gao Munyoko Fui Dai Seshu Fusai Shobingu Seifu Joshogak Gashi Jobutsudo Myosho Chojippo Kukyo Mishomon Seifu Joshogak Ryokujin Shonen Joe Shubongyo Shigumu Jodo Isho Tenninshi Jinniki Daiko Fushomu Saido Shoujo Sankumyo Kosai Shunyakunan Kaiichi Egem Meshi Konmoan Heisoku Shoakudo Tsudatsu Zen Shumon Kosojo Manzok Iyoro Jippo Nichigatsu Shujuki Tenko Onpugen Ishu Kai Hozo Koseku Dokuho Jodai Shuchu Seppo Shishiku Kuyo Isai Butsu Gusoku Shutoku Hom Gane Shitsujoman Tokui Sangayo Nyobutsu Mugechi Tsudatsu Mifusho Gangaku Erik
Toshi Saisho Son Shiganya Koka Daisen Okando Kokusho Tenni Touchi Myoke Namo Amida Butsu 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 Ganni Shikudoku Byodo Seisai Dohoten Bodaishin Ojo An Dako. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Okay, next we'd like to recite the three treasures. It's on page 3 in the small purple book. We'll also put the words on the screen. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda. Okay. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Once again, we had originally planned to celebrate our Ohigan service today because tomorrow is the actual equinox. So tomorrow is the first day of spring, and we try to time it so it's about the right time, but a few things got in our way. One of them being the Oakland Running Festival, which is happening today, and in the past, it has really created a traffic snarl. So we didn't want so much for people to get stuck. But since it's also raining today, they are running, I guess, but traffic doesn't look too bad. But hey, next week we'll have our Ohigan service on next Sunday, and really looking forward to that. I think it will be a very nice service. So today I'm going to call it pre-Ohigan talk, because actually in Japan, Ohigan lasts for a week. And each school is kind of different, but it's this period. It's not just one thing. It's this time when traditionally in Japan, people are going to try and put the 6 paramitas to practice, and study, and try to be very Buddhist during this time. So let me put up my screen here. So March 19th, almost Higan, right? It's almost Higan for our service. So Ohigan, we often say Ohigan, right? Spring Ohigan, but the O is honorific. So it's actually Higan for the Chinese characters. Oh, can't. So Higan means the other shore, the other shore. And so this idea of this shore of samsara, right? Our world is the world of suffering, the world of the 3 poisons, and we want to get to the other shore. So the other shore is nirvana. Nirvana. So then one of the questions is, well, how do we get to the other shore? How do I get there? And so one of the answers, one of the traditional answers, especially for Mahayana Buddhism, which is what we are, is the Paramitas, or the perfections. And so by perfecting these practices, maybe we can become bodhisattvas and reach the other shore. And so there's a way to remember the 6 paramitas. I'm going to do it the English way next week when we have Dharma school. But I thought this week, we don't have kids here today. There's no Dharma school today. So let's do the Sanskrit version. Okay, so you might be familiar with the English version, but this is the Sanskrit version. Dharma school kids value daily practice. Okay, Dharma school kids value daily practice. So what does that mean? It stands for dana, shila, kshanti, virya, dhyana, and prajna. Okay, so if you look at the first letter of each one, right? Dharma school kids value daily practice, DSK, VDP. And then it stands for these Sanskrit words, dana, shila, kshanti. I should have taken the little diacritical off the S there. Virya, dhyana, and prajna. Okay, talk over. No, just kidding. I got to tell you what they are. And so if we want to know what they are, here they are. Giving, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom. There's another acronym that stands for those. So we'll do that next week. This week, we just maybe want to try to remember Dharma school kids value daily practice. Because you never know, maybe, junior Y or something, there might be kind of scavenger hunt or quiz or Buddhist Jeopardy or something. Maybe not even Dharma school, maybe Dharma school parent, or maybe you just want to try and memorize these. I didn't memorize these for years until our former superintendent, Dharma school superintendent, Maya Lawrence, came up with these 2 acronyms to help remember. And so I memorized them. Dharma school kids value daily practice. Okay, so by perfecting these, because it's not just giving, it's perfect giving. It's selfless giving. Giving with no thought of oneself, no thought of reward, no thought of thanks, purely for the benefit of the other. Discipline, patience, effort. These are, it's not just, oh, I'm going to try to be more disciplined and maybe only eat 1 cookie instead of 5 cookies, right? I mean, that's one kind of discipline you might have. But this is really, Shila is like the precepts, the monastic precepts, becoming a monk, following all these rules. Patience isn't just, okay, I'll wait till everyone's ready and then I'll start eating, right? This is patience over multiple lifetimes to do everything it takes to fulfill these paramitas, this Buddhist path, bodhisattva path. Meditation, we don't meditate, right? But bodhisattvas do, and prajna, this wisdom. This is the perfect wisdom of the Buddha. It's not just wisdom, hey, I'm a little older, a little wiser. I feel wiser at 50 than I did at 20. Right? It's a different kind of wisdom. This is wisdom of the Buddha, right? This is insight into the true nature of reality, empty, suchness, right? Interconnected. So we can learn from these, and I think we should try to put these into practice and think about these. But these are extremely high-level practices in their true form. So I'd like to switch gears a little bit. And last week I talked about, or not last week, a few weeks ago, I talked about the 7 masters, right? And I mentioned Vasubandhu, right? And Vasubandhu, his name in Chinese with the Japanese pronunciation is Tenjin. Okay, Tenjin, it's Vasubandhu. But today I'd like to talk about someone else, Tanluan. Tanluan, right? Or in Japanese, it's pronounced Donnan. Donnan. And so both of these are really important because, unfortunately, in the room, the screen, you can't see it because it's blocked, right? But but Tenjin by itself would be pronounced Shin. Donnan. So by taking the Shin from Tenjin and the Ran from Donnan, look, Shinran. Shinran's name, Shinran, comes from the characters for Tenjin and Donnan. So he's had other names like Shaku, Zenshin, right? He did have other names, but at some point, I think he chose these for himself. Shinnan. Also, Gutoku is another one, right? Foolish stubblehead. Gutoku Shinnan calls himself. But the Shinnan is coming from Vasubandhu, Tenjin, and Tanluan or Donnan. That Ran kanji is hard. Look at that. It's so many strokes. That's like one of the most strokes of a character, right? If you look in a kanji dictionary, there's so many strokes for the Ran of Donnan or Shinnan. So Tanluan or Donnan, he lived 476 to 542 CE. CE is the same as AD, right? CE means common era. AD is more Christian, right? Anno Domini, the year of our Lord. So in academics, they use CE and BCE instead of BC and AD. So Tanluan is a Chinese master, living 5th century into the 6th century. Now here's a picture. This is a picture of a scroll. We only have 3 scrolls or three bays, right? We have Amida, and then we have Shinran behind me, and then we have Renyo on the other side. But some temples are wider, like San Jose, Mountain View, and even Palo Alto has actually 5 images in their altar. And the one on the far left next to Renyo is a scroll of the 7 masters. So this scroll that I have on the screen now is the picture of the Palo Alto Buddhist Temple 7 Masters scroll. And so here, I zoomed in a little bit. The first one on the upper right is Nagarjuna. And then on the left side is Vasubandhu. So there's Tenjin. And then on the bottom, in the middle, is Tanluan. So we can see pictures. Now, Nagarjuna and Vasubandhu there on the top, they're portrayed as full-on cosmic bodhisattvas, right? They're sitting on the lotus pedestal. They've got the halos of light behind them. But then Tanluan is portrayed more as a regular person, although high-level monk, right? Eminent monk sitting in the chair. It's kind of a neat picture. Sorry, it's so low resolution. But so this is Tanluan. The most important contribution of Tanluan, other power, tariki. So this idea of other power, Shinran gets from Tanluan, right? We don't see it so much in Nagarjuna and Vasubandhu, but Tanluan is the one who brings this idea out of other power, tariki. Jiriki is self-power, my power. Tariki is other power. So I'm going to stop sharing for a second. So this other is, well, what is it, huh? It's not me, right? That the path of Shinshu is not to try and do things by my own effort. Okay, I'm going to be more disciplined. I'm going to have more effort, and I'm going to get to the Pure Land. I'm going to perfect these practices. I'm going to be selfless. I'm going to do selfless giving. And I'm going to practice this giving until it's perfect, right? Selfless giving. Can I do that? Can I even accomplish that? And so this recognition of, well, that's self-power. Maybe there's more than just my own power. Maybe there's something else that can help me reach the other shore. And so Tan Luan recognizes this and teaches about other power. And so that other power, another name for it could be Buddha power, Butsudiki, right? The power of the Buddha. And that's Amida Buddha. And it's Amida Buddha's power, and the power also comes from his vows. So we might also say vow power, Ganniki. Now, one kind of interesting thing is that often self-power is written with lowercase s and lowercase p, and other power is written with uppercase O and uppercase P. And that's because this other power is actually not separate from me. It's not other from Buddha's side. Buddha's side realizes it's all light. It's all Buddha. It's all such, the one suchness, the one thusness. Right? So from Buddha's side, there's no self and other. There's none of that dichotomy. So that's why they write the O with a uppercase O, to understand that it's not like self and other, like you and me, or me and something else separate. That this other power from the Buddha side is actually, there is no self and other. But I'm not Buddha. I'm not awakened. I recognize self and other. I can't survive without recognizing self and other, right? I need to feed myself. I need to take care of my body. Right? No one else can eat and then I get full, right? I have to eat the food. So there is a me, seemingly, right? And there are others. And that is an important dynamic, right? To realize that in samsara, we have this self and other. Maybe I want to try and take care of others, whether it's your family or my members, or someone that's hurt and in pain, and realizing, oh, here's an other person. I want to try to help them. And with that dana, maybe, right? And even if I can't manifest that selflessly, even if I can't perfect it, we still realize, oh, this person needs help. I'm going to try to help them, this other person. But to perfect the practices on my own is extremely difficult, right? And we see Shinran as a monk for 20 years, since being a young child, and then just couldn't do it. He could not perfect the practices. He could not do them correctly, selflessly, perfectly. Right? And so I think he was ready to give up. But fortunately, he encountered Honen, who brought this teaching of Namo Amida Butsu to him. He encounters the teachings of Vasubandhu and Tan Luan. Really important. It seems like actually Tan Luan's text, they knew his name, but the text, his commentary on the treatise on the Pure Land, the Hojo Ronchu, where he talks about other power, wasn't readily available until Shinran's time. So previous masters, even like Genshin, might mention Tan Luan, but it doesn't go into detail because he didn't have a text to even look at. But Shinran gets access to this text, and there we can see a lot of the unique nature of Shinran's teaching that's different even than his teacher Honen, comes from his exposure to Tan Luan in the Ojo Ronchu, and this idea of other power. So we can see this kind of unique contribution of Shinran of relying completely on other power. Absolute tariki. So just such an important master. Let's go back to my chart. So in Jodo Shinshu, I would say we reach the other shore by other power. Right? That we're not reaching the other shore by being a good person, by being a good Buddhist, by, did he show up at church enough this year? Right? Did you show up at all 52 Sundays? Did you show up maybe even like 7 days a week, 24/7 for an entire year? Is that going to be good enough to reach the other shore? Even if you did it your whole life, you don't have to, right? That's not the point, that we're not doing it by our own power. We reach the other shore by other power, by this power of the Buddha. So then you might ask, well, what about the paramitas? What about the perfections? So my understanding is that the paramitas were perfected by Dharmakara Bodhisattva, who became Amida Buddha, right? So that when we think about the paramitas, the paramitas, right, these perfections, I think we do want to think about them as the ultimate ideals. During the pandemic, I was talking about them as Buddhist values, right? Realizing, wow, okay, these are the values of Buddhism, to try and help others, right? To see things as they truly are, but also a recognition that maybe I can't do that. But Dharmakara Bodhisattva did. Dharmakara Bodhisattva perfected the paramitas, right? And they're bound up in Namo Amida Butsu. They're bound up in the name. We encounter these through the name, right? By reciting Namo Amida Butsu. So that's the end of my slideshow. So in this kind of almost Higan time, right, to think about the paramitas, right? Think about this process of this, even this idea of going to the other shore, to that there is nirvana, right? There is this state that we can attain, but we don't attain it through our own effort, right? It becomes available to us through the other power of Amida Buddha, through the power of Amida Buddha's vows, through the name, Namo Amida Butsu. It's really amazing. You know, we think about going to the Pure Land, and, you know, the Pure Land is another way to think of the other shore. Shandao, one of the two masters after Tanluan, talks about the white path, right? And there's this white path between our shore and the other shore of the Pure Land, right? And we reach that white path. We walk that white path. That's Shinjin. And that Shinjin is coming to us from Amida Buddha, this trusting mind. So this idea of the other shore, going to the Pure Land, is an important part of our tradition, but we should also know it's not just getting to the Pure Land. Nirvana means you're awakened, you become Buddha, right? So that our school is a Mahayana school, because the ultimate goal is attainment of Buddhahood, becoming Buddha myself, right? Being able to attain Buddhahood. But is it something that I'm doing? Right? Or is it something that's coming to me and actually realizing, wow, maybe there's Buddhas in my life. Maybe I can encounter this power of nirvana, right? Through Amida, through the efforts of so many, allowing me to encounter this teaching of other power, allowing me to encounter this teaching of Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu. So thank you very much. We'll go over the 6 paramitas again next week. We might even have a special guest for Dharma School. And so we'll be back for our official Dharma School service next time. But for now, let's do a Gatha. And the Gatha I want to do is the lyrics were written by our very own Reverend Seigen Yamaoka. And so it's a version that I did. And you can sing along if you want. The lyrics will be up on the screen. Okay, here we go. The purest time in nature found in the early spring and fall. These are the days when hearts of life become one with self and all. In the spring, the gentle breezes, in its most sustaining way, lifts our longing spirits beyond the toils of life. The purest time in nature's realm, in the early spring and fall. These are the days when hearts of life become one with self and all. The autumn sky is golden haze, in its radiant splendor, tells our searching heart the flow of nature's ways. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo. Okay, thank you. Now let's turn it over to Robert Noguchi for announcements.
Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much, Sensei, and I'd like to welcome all the folks attending today at the Buddhist Church of Oakland, as live as well as online. Thank you very much for joining us today on this rainy Sunday. Couple of announcements. As Sensei mentioned, next Sunday is our real Spring Ohigan service, which will be on the 26th at 10 a.m. Online and in person here at the church. And then the next Sunday will be April 2nd, which will be Hanamatsuri. And I think you should be seeing the flyer on the screen now, where you could pour sweet tea over the Buddha in Lumbini's garden, otherwise called the Hanamido. And that'll be happening in 2 weeks on Sunday, April 2nd. We'll start at 9:30, so that being that a lot of people will want to come and do that, the Kambutsu, come early, and so you could go ahead and take care of doing that. Our service will feature a guest speaker, Reverend Kodo Umezu, the former bishop of the Buddhist Churches of America, and there's a quick biography of Sensei's career with the BCA shown on the flyer. This is in the Bushin and online at the BCO website, BuddhistChurchofOakland.org. Okay, a few other things happening. This is the Buddhist. Let's see. This is the Buddhist Church of Oakland. Let's see. My screen seems to have paused. Anyway, a couple things that just came in. The Southern Alameda County Buddhist Church Sakura Jams will be happening. Reunion dance will be happening on Saturday, April 8th, which is just about 3 weeks from now, from 7 to 11 p.m. And there'll be special guests and DJs, including our Reverend Bridge. So that'll be happening on Saturday, April 8th from 7 to 11. The BYR6, this is from the Buddhist Churches of America. Their Buddhist Youth Retreat 6, which will be happening in July, actually June 25th through July 1st. And you could get information on that from the Buddhist Churches of America website. The other items that are happening, there's going to be a seminar called What is Obon next Saturday, or this Saturday, the 25th from 11 a.m. Pacific time. And also Yoga Buddhism and a Healthy Lifestyle, which will be happening in June at the Jodo Shinshu Center in Berkeley. So all that information is available on the BCA website, the Buddhist Churches of America website. Okay, so with that, that's all I have. I want to thank Sensei Reverend Bridge for his Dharma talk and officiating today's service. I'd like to thank Reverend Michael Endo for assisting, and the host group of 11, George Kamita's group, for providing hospitality for those attending at the church today. So, okay, thank you all very much, and I'll send it back to Sensei.
Great. Thank you very much, Robert. This will conclude our almost Higan service. And so let's conclude with Kansho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Okay, thank you. This will conclude our service.
Yeah.